I met somebody the other day. He comes from Australia. And on October 7th, like many Jewish people, he wasn't really feeling his Jewish, let's call it, identity. And he thought he was part of the world. You know, a normal person growing up in Australia. I kind of grew up in Kansas. I could identify with that. And all the people around him are just, normal, nice people. Until, of course, on October 7th, over 1,200 Jews mercilessly, brutally, with no cause whatsoever except for pure anti-Semitic hate that's been going on for thousands of years, the oldest hate in the world, were slaughtered. Babies were burnt alive like the Nazis, or even worse. Barbarism. I met a soldier who told me his job was to take down videos, these horrific videos. They actually, if you think about it, like, who did they take these videos for? The people that were sponsoring this, Qatar, these sick Arab sheiks, these sick people that they could see, that they could have pleasure in the suffering of other people. Miserable bastards. And they took people, they raped, they killed, they tortured, as we're speaking this very day. And of course, people in the West, they say if you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. Why is it that people, never in human history, in all of human history, never has there been a group, and there have been many, many groups of people that have held such contradictory, conflicting, self-destructive, nihilistic, and stupid ideas. Every single thing in nature is male or female. If you can't determine if biology tells you if something is male or female, you're like the dumbest person that ever was created. And so the very fact that people are ignoring reality, it's simple. It's called the emperor's clothing. You see, when we are part of a group, we think that we're thinking, but usually what we're doing is we're following. How could millions of people believe that somebody is a messiah? Millions of others don't. Millions believe someone else is. It's very simple, because 99.9% of the people, probably you as well, and I'm saying this not to hurt but to help, are simply following the herd. But where is the herd going? The herd is what we call groupthink. Freud speaks about this. The group behaves like an infant. What's the difference between an infant and an adult? It's called common sense. The infant doesn't have common sense. The infant needs safety. So everything the infant thinks is exactly what his parents think. How come kids think whatever their parents think? Because the need for safety will override everything else. And you will actually think that you're thinking, but you're not thinking, you're following. The reason I'm saying this is not to hurt anyone, but to help everyone, and to say that my dear friend, who I met the other day, and now he's a dear friend, Rebbe says when Jews meet, they somehow have this beautiful instant connection. I like to say God brings you together, whether you stay together is up to you. But he realized that suddenly, unless he hated Israel, unless he was a Nazi like the left has become, he would be ostracized, and he wasn't willing to become a Nazi, particularly that his own grandparents were saved miraculously from the Holocaust. And so therefore he said, okay, I need to figure out the truth. And that's a very important question. I told him, when you're looking for the truth, the most important question is, what is the truth? You can't find the truth unless you're looking for it. Now, getting back to the subject of happiness, happiness is actually quite simple. As I mentioned to my new dear friend, happiness is alignment with self. When you are doing what you believe you should be doing. But here's the but. It doesn't work if you're just following. If you're just following everyone else, you'll never be happy, because everyone else in all of human history has proven this. That, if you are thinking like the majority of humanity, whatever you're thinking is wrong. Because for all of human history, the majority of humanity has been wrong. Because, like we said before, the majority of humanity is not thinking. They're following. And so by actually going into the Torah, into the truth, which is goodness and kindness, which is our truest self. Because the soul of all reality is God. All souls come from the source soul. And the source soul is good. And the source soul is unconditionally loving and noble and kind and giving. And unless we're aligned, our outer self, our behavior, my body and my soul are aligned, I will never be happy. Because no matter how many people you follow, how many awards you get, your tension between who you really know you should be, even if you're ignoring that on some level, but your deepest heart knows this truth, and your reality will not make you feel okay. So I say to each and every person, we are blessed. We are united in the fact that there is one creator, a loving creator, and he wants goodness and kindness to prevail. But it's up to each and every one of us to choose it. You know why? That itself is part of the miracle of reality, because only what you choose is very precious to you. So this moment, change yourself, change the world, choose to live in alignment with God, with your soul, with goodness and kindness. And choose that in a way that you can never break it, because a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. If you're going to fear, and that's the key thing, the very first law of thousands, tens of thousands of Jewish law, is don't be afraid what other people will say. Because if you're going to be afraid of criticism, how did millions of people end up following this monster Hitler? Millions of people following, I know people don't think it, but he was also a monster. He caused civil wars around the world. He caused ISIS. He caused women, the Yazidi women, to be raped in the most horrific ways. Obama, how did millions of people end up following them? Because they don't have the courage to say this guy is just a sick man, he's a jerk, and that's what he is. And until you can do what I do, which is get onto YouTube, get onto the public, and state your mind. I don't care what it is, but state it. And your mind should be different, should be unique. It shouldn't be following everybody else. It should be the opinions that you have thought through, you have created. Massive Pew poll that shows the entire left is one big Obama cult in America. Unless you can think for yourself clearly and have convictions, think it through, and be certain that what you're saying is true after you thought it through. Not after you are repeating someone else's garbage. You are not in truth. And you would never be happy unless you are aligned to your soul and your spirit. And the truth, the simple truth, that this world is a beautiful opportunity for each and every one of us to shine more light. That's all it is. And so let us all engage in the infinite truth. I am here to shine more light. And as long as I do that with happiness and with joy, there will be more light in the world, beautiful light. So it's up to you and I to decide that we're here to shine light. We're coming up to October 7th, a day of terrible darkness. But ultimately, the only way you beat darkness is through light. And if each and every one of us make this real resolution right now, from now on, I am a source of light in God's world. There is a God, there is a source of light, and he wants us to choose. Why do we have all this suffering? Because we haven't chosen. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And if you don't choose it, you're going to follow the masses because it is the weakest link. Don't be the weakest link in the chain. Be the strongest link. Get your convictions right, and that's what a Jew is. That's what Abraham is. He looked for the truth. He found it. He was willing to die for it. But most importantly, he was willing to dedicate his life towards it. He spread light, and the world is a better place. And each and every one of us is an Abraham. Let's be our own Abraham. Figure it out. Go forth with convictions, because it's the only thing that's worth living for. Good luck.